my loves. Welcome in to this reading for the full moon in Gemini. I'm so happy to have you here. We are going to be diving into the astrological cycle of the full moon, how it relates to your own astrology, and then we're going to be tapping into our own intuitive guidance, our support team, by utilizing the spiritual tools of the cards to get us advice based on the current astrology and our own astrology. For those who are new, hello and welcome in. It is lovely to have you here. Welcome into this beautiful family, this beautiful process. I'm excited to have you be a part of it. I have a tutorial video that helps you to get the most out of these readings. It gives you a little bit more information about what we're doing here and really how to process through these readings and get the most out of them. It's not necessary for you to watch them, but it is an option should you feel called to utilize it. For those who are not new, hello and welcome back in. Thank you so much for being here. This is a way that my heart loves to connect with you guys. This is like me showing up on a one-on-one basis, even though it's electronic and even though there's a time difference between us. I feel connected to you guys through this guidance, through this advice that I share, and it's just really amazing to be able to offer you this support in this way that I do, and I appreciate you so much for being here. There are many ways that you can support me should you feel called to do that. I am offering these readings for free, so any support that you can give me is welcome. There's free ways to support me and there's financial ways. You can just comment on these. You can share them with other people. You can donate if you want to at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. Or you can sign up for your own personal chart reading or card reading at devotedandvulnerable.com/services. Link is also in the description. Before we get started and talking about the full moon energy and Gemini energy and what this reading is going to be about, I want to remind you that at any point you can utilize the navigation bar to scroll through information that you're already familiar with. I take time to do timestamps on all of these videos so that you can navigate them based on your own level of understanding that you already have. If you're new, you're probably going to want to sit through and watch it all. But if you're not new, if you're familiar with the energies, the archetypes that I'm going to be talking about, you can feel free to scroll ahead to the readings and get right to the meat of the material. So we're going to be talking about full moon energy right now. Full moon energy is when the moon is full in the sky. It's always in the sign opposite of where the sun is. So we have a full moon in Gemini right now. The full moon will happen on December 7th. It'll happen at 23:07 Eastern Time. And it's happening in 16 degrees 2 minutes of Gemini. So the advice that we're going to be talking about for this full moon will last from this full moon until the next full moon, which will be from December 7th until January 6th. Full moons are always a time of celebration. It's celebrating a theme. It's like the full focal point and spotlight on something, and it's always a celebration underneath the sign that it is occurring in. So now let's talk about what Gemini energy is. Gemini is an air sign. So air signs rule and represent the mental and intellectual realm. So thoughts and beliefs and the mental processes of our beings are all contained within the realm of air. Now, Gemini is a mutable sign. Mutable signs are signs that happen during the change of a season. So they are the energy of change, the energy of adaptation, the energy of being not one thing, but also not another. Gemini occurs during the time when we transition from spring into summer. So this is the energy that we are in. We're celebrating a fullness of this Gemini energy, a fullness of this changing intellect that we have. Gemini is represented by the symbol of the twins. So the twins are this energy, like I said, of the mutable energy, of something being the same but different, which twins represent. It's also the energy of the mirror. What we see in the mirror reflected back to us gives us information about ourselves. So this is the intellectual quality of Gemini. Geminis are witty, they're clever, they're intelligent, adaptable, and they're energetic. This is a sign that's constantly having ideas. And as we celebrate this full moon, celebrate the energy of Gemini, we're going to be going to the cards to celebrate what our intellect has achieved this year. So that is going to be the focus of the card readings. We're going to be going to the Super Attractor deck by Gabrielle Bernstein, which is going to offer us an affirmation to help us support this and celebrate this amazing intellectual ability that we have. We all have different ways of expressing our intellect, and the Gemini moon really wanted us to focus on celebrating our minds, celebrating the intellectual realm, and really making it personal to us. So how you personalize this information is you watch the reading that is aligned for where 16 degrees, 2 minutes of Gemini shows up in your chart. Which house? Now, if you don't know how to find that information, that's absolutely fine. Just take the time to watch this tutorial video that's popping up right now. It is going to take you through how to enter in your birth data into a chart generator, and then how to read the chart enough to know where Gemini 16 degrees 2 minutes occurs in your chart, which house it occurs in. Now you can use any house system that you want to. I explained a little bit in the tutorial video. I use the whole house system, but there's also the default system, which is known as the Placidus system, and the equal house system, which starts the first house at the ascending point. Now, again, you don't have to know any of that. You just go with whatever you're called to. Your guides, your support team know which house system you're going to choose, and they're going to show up for you in whichever reading aligns with that house, okay? If you have questions after watching that video about which reading is the right video for you, please contact me and let me know. And let's dive into what information is coming through for us to celebrate about our intellect this lunar phase. So this reading is for you if 16 degrees, 2 minutes of Gemini shows up in your 5th house. If you're already familiar with the 5th house energies, you can scroll ahead to the card reading. So the houses in the astrological story represent the where of our journey. And each house is ruled by one of the signs of the zodiac and one of the planets. So the 5th sign of the zodiac is Leo. The ruler of the 5th house is Leo. The planet that rules Leo is the sun. So sun is also the ruler of the 5th house. Now, what it means to have a ruler over this area of our lives is the ruler really determines the focus of that house. So the 5th house is all about pleasure. It's all about fun and games. It's about hobbies, creativity. It's about the first child energy. It's about casual vibes with other people. This is the house of just creativity, drama, laughter, fun, expression. This is the area of our lives where we really allow ourselves to laugh and express and create. So when we're talking about this full moon happening in this area of our house, the full moon spotlight is pinging this area of our lives, inviting us to celebrate our intellect, the intellectual world, when it comes to our fun and games, hobbies, and pleasures. Let's see what the Super Attractor affirmation wants to bring forth for us to affirm during this lunar phase. So if you haven't already called in your spiritual support team, taken a few deep breaths, and opened your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you at this time, please do that. Remember, you can pause the video to take more time to do that if you need to. Okay, that's you guys. Appreciation dissolves all blocks to the presence of my super attractor power. Awesome. So let's talk about what the super attractor power is. The super attractor power is the ability to focus on something into form. It's really the creative power of our co-creative processes, abilities, minds. So when we're talking about celebrating our intellect, we're talking about celebrating our mind's ability to bring something into form. And your appreciation, your celebration of your ability to think something into being is what dissolves the blocks that you have to being able to create things into being. So when it comes to your creative expression, when it comes to the fun and games and hobbies that you're involving and investing yourself in, appreciation of your ability to think something into being is so key during this lunar phase. And it's really a celebration. Now, this is not a new beginning. New moons represent new beginnings, new shiftings and changings and experiences for us, whereas full moons represent the full celebration of something. So this is a celebration of something that you've already experienced in certain ways. You've already had the journey of bringing something into your experience, especially in the realm of the fifth house, which is fun and games or hobbies or creative expression. So there's something in your experience where you've already focused on something into being, and you're being invited this lunar phase to appreciate the fact that that is possible. There's been so many times where I've focused on pleasure and receiving pleasure and having pleasurable experiences just with my mind, just in my own mental realm. And again, we're focusing on the mind because Gemini is an air sign. It's the realm of the mind that Gemini rules, the air signs rule. So in my mental sphere, I've been able to visualize myself doing something pleasurable, creating something, doing a hobby of something, and then I've experienced the result of that. The most famous example I give people is when I spent all summer, my senior year before my senior year of college, visualizing myself getting the role of the lead in the musical. I visualized the auditions going well. I visualized going to the callback, something I'd never been at. I'd never been called back for a musical in college in my life. I visualized seeing my name on the cast list, all of this. I spent my entire summer lying in a hammock, looking at the trees and feeling, visualizing it, mentally imagining this pleasurable experience to unfold. I indeed was cast as the lead in the musical my senior year. I always joke about I should have visualized and spent more time on visualizing myself performing the role well. Because once school started, I had zero time for visualization and ended up not performing the role as well as my perfectionist self would have liked to. But that is not the point. The point here is that I have had an experience in the past where I can and did mentally focus on something pleasurable, a creative expression of mine, and then I saw the result of that. So if this was my card, if this was my alignment, I would just be sitting back and being like, oh my gosh, I appreciate so much. I celebrate that I called that into being. And I'd write down a list of everything that I've called into being with the focus of my mind. And I would just celebrate that. I'd give thanks for that. I'd look at that list over and over again and just really be appreciative of what it is that I am able to call into my life. So that's what your guidance is for this lunar phase. Really appreciate, write down a list of to help you appreciate and look at that list frequently. Or just write down this affirmation and remember those things when you say this affirmation in the morning and at night. Recommendation, not a requirement. So this is your guiding light for this lunar phase to really appreciate the things that you've called into being. And as a result, you're going to dissolve the blocks that you have to creating more of the same in your life, especially in the area of your hobbies, fun and games, and in your creative expression. All right, my beautiful fifth housers, let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you have questions. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.